My name's Bob. I'm 35 years old and single. I work as the personal chauffeur for the boss of the Genovese crime family. Back in the day, I used to be a pro boxer, but I suffered a career-ending injury during a match and had to retire early, with my dreams unfulfilled. Now I keep my boxing past a secret while working this job. Today's assignment was just supposed to be driving the boss to an executive meeting, waiting around, and then taking him home afterwards. I figured it'd be an easy gig, but then some unexpected shit went down. Right after I dropped the boss off at the meeting, a group of unfamiliar dudes strolled into the building. I know the faces and names of all the made men, and none of these guys were family. So it struck me as mad suspicious. Since I didn't have anything else scheduled till the meeting wrapped up, I decided to scope out the scene, thinking maybe someone hired these fools as entertainment or something. But when I walked inside, the place was total chaos. I could hear shouts of "Stop" and "Help me" coming from all over. Trying to keep my cool, I surveyed the area to get a read on the situation. Turns out participants of executive meeting were attacked by the unknown group. These unknown punks were beating the ever-living crap out of the bosses with bats and shit. I knew this was bad news, so I figured I better start rescuing the made men, focusing on the ones closest to me first. I approached one of the thugs, who was gleefully swinging a bat around. "Yo pal, bats are for playing ball, not brawling. Let's settle this mano a mano," I said before knocking his lights out with a right hook. The punk dropped like a sack of potatoes, then scrambled to his feet and hightailed it out of there. One made man who was entangled looked unharmed, so I decided to get the lowdown from him. "Name's Bob. I'm the Genovese family head's personal driver. What the hell's going on here?" When I asked him that, the boss man said he had no idea what was happening or who this gang of delinquents even was. Hearing that, I realized most of the made men here were probably just as clueless and were scattering in a panic. Right then, a loud screech of feedback pierced the air. An unfamiliar voice started speaking over the loudspeaker. "I'm Sonny, the leader of G. Listen up, you old farts. Your time is over. We're taking over as the new bosses in town, got it? And if anyone tries to stop us, well, you'll find out what happens." After that little announcement, this Sonny character, clearly the head of these hoodlum punks calling themselves Z, started putting on a show in the middle of the room. A couple of his flunkies held down one of our bosses while Sonny hit him with a flying kick. The old-timer crumpled to the floor and fainted. I felt disgusted looking at how they fight. There's no excuse for that kind of brutality to gang up on someone 3-on-1 when they don't even know what's going on. Right then and there, I resolved to shut these Z-punks down, no matter what it took. As I continued helping the bosses in my vicinity, I heard a familiar voice calling out from a distance. "Help me out here. I still got a young daughter at home." I turned toward the voice and saw a short man surrounded by Sonny and two of his goons. They were slowly closing in on him, bats in hand. I immediately recognized the small fella as the boss. I rushed over to protect him, positioning myself between him and the thugs. "Hey, you punks! Don't take another step closer to the boss. You're a decade too early to lay a finger on him." Relief washed over the boss face when I showed up. "Bob, you made it. Thanks a million." "Course I did, boss. It's my duty. Oh, and I'm gonna need a raise for this." "You got it. I'll throw in a bonus too." The boss and I exchanged a bit of playful banter, which Sonny clearly didn't appreciate, as he interrupted, sounding annoyed. "Yo, how long you gonna stand there cracking jokes? Quit ignoring us unless you want to piss us off even more." I quickly turned back to face Sonny and his crew. My bad. The boss and I see each other every day, so trading wisecracks is part of the usual routine when we meet up. I said that with a chuckle, but it only served to further irritate Sonny and his lackeys. They started banging their bats on the ground menacingly. "Whoa there, fellas. Mind putting those bats down? It's hard to have a friendly chat when you're waving those around all threateningly." My comment prompted Sonny to press his bat right up against my throat, glaring at me with a look that could kill. "Huh? You better quit messing around too, you hear? It's 'cause of your disrespectful attitude that we gotta act this way, get it? Now get on your knees and apologize like you mean it, old man." I getcha. You're saying my behavior offended you, so you want me to kneel down and say I'm sorry." Okay, I'm more than willing to do that if it'll smooth things over. I proceeded to take a knee in front of Sonny and his goons. I apologize for making you uncomfortable. It won't happen again. Maybe it's because I complied so readily, but Sonny and his boys didn't make any other demands after that. Just don't let it happen again. Got it? Sonny warned. Yes, sir. I assure you I won't make that mistake a second time. While we're on the topic though, I'd appreciate an apology from you boys as well. If you don't mind getting on your knees to say sorry, that'd be great. My request caused Sonny's expression to quickly shift back into pissed off mode. Huh? And why the hell should we be apologizing to you? Well, because you offended me too, obviously. I mean, I apologize to you fellas on my knees, right? That makes us even Steven. Honestly, it really rubbed me the wrong way seeing y'all gang up on the boss 3-on-1 like that. A sincere apology would go a long way, if you could be so kind. In response, the three of them curled their lips in disgust as they glared at me. Sonny then burst out laughing, causing the other two to follow suit. Is this geezer off his rocker or what? That's the whole reason we came here today, numbskull. Fighting dirty. Heck yeah, and proud of it. Ain't no way we're getting on our knees to apologize, no matter what you say. Tough luck, Gramps. Sonny continued guffawing as he spoke, looking at me mockingly. So you're admitting that you are intentionally being underhanded. An apology costs nothing more than your pride. If an old fart like me can do it, I don't see why a bunch of strapping young lads like you can't. You really can't bring yourselves to do it. Not a chance. And besides, if the other members caught wind that we were on our knees begging for forgiveness, we'd never live it down. Ain't that right, Polly? Sonny turned to the man beside him as he said this. The fella, apparently named Polly, coughed once before replying. You said it, boss. Empty words and a forced apology through gritted teeth ain't worth squat. Plus, if we start doling out apologies willy-nilly, it'll cheapen the whole act. Exactly. That's what I was getting at. Thanks for breaking it down for him, Polly. This is why you're my right-hand man. Think nothing of it, boss. I think we've made it plenty clear that an apology from this fella is completely meaningless anyhow. Polly pointed at me and laughed derisively as he said this. Sonny chortled along, agreeing. You got that right. The two of them openly mocking me was really starting to get under my skin, but I did my best to maintain a calm and collected exterior. Isn't it awfully rude to take that tone with someone who just got on his knees and apologized to you? Doesn't seem very mature if you ask me. I kept a polite smile on my face as I said this, but Sonny just glowered at me in response. Tisk. You're a real piece of work, you know that, old-timer. Put a sock in it already, will ya? You're getting on my last nerve. Sonny punctuated his statement by throwing a punch at me. I tried to dodge it, but then I remembered the boss was standing right behind me. I couldn't risk evading and letting the boss get hit, so I ended up taking Sonny's fist square in my left shoulder. Sonny looked at me and sneered, the hell's with this geezer? I figured he might have some moves since we were bothering to hear him out, but he's just a total weak link. What a waste of time. Polly joined in, gloating. You're absolutely right, boss. He's clearly no threat to Z. The two of them ridiculed me as they laughed. At this point, my patience had just about reached its limit. I was done playing nice. I decided then and there that I was going to destroy Z, even if it meant blowing my cover as an ex-boxer. Listen up, you wet behind the ears punks. You're gonna regret not apologizing when I give you the chance. Prepare for a world of pain. I cold cocked Sonny with a right straight and then immediately socked Polly with the same. I made sure to pull my punches a bit though. Knocking them out in one hit would be a real hassle. They both managed to stagger back and stay on their feet, but just barely. This sudden turn of events clearly caught them completely off guard, as they were visibly flustered and at a loss for words. What's with those faces? You only have yourselves to blame for pissing me off. Now watch closely, cause I'm about to end this in the blink of an eye. I then proceeded to make short work of all the Z members in the joint. The fact that I was catching them unawares definitely played a part, but it was still almost comical how they were going down in a single shot. In no time flat, Sonny and Polly were the only two left standing. I made sure to save them for last on purpose. I had a score to settle and a lesson to teach. They were both utterly dumbfounded by this unexpected development, mouths hanging agape in shock. Before dealing with them, I checked on the boss to make sure he was okay. "Boss, I'm so sorry for leaving your side. Are you hurt at all?" As I rushed over to the boss, I saw that he had a startled expression on his face as well. No, I'm fine. They didn't lay a finger on me. More importantly, Bob, I had no idea you were such a beast. When did you learn to fight like that? Yes. I dabbled in some martial arts back in the day. Sorry for keeping that from you. No, that's quite all right. I'm just glad you were here. You really saved our hides. I can't thank you enough. It's just, seeing how incredibly skilled you are, it almost seems like a waste to have you as a chauffeur. I'm truly flattered you think so highly of my abilities. But I genuinely enjoy working as your driver. Nothing would make me happier than to continue serving in that role. Of course. If being my chauffeur is what you want, then I wouldn't dream of reassigning you. The boss gave me an understanding smile, much to my relief. For a second there, I was afraid he might try to capitalize on my fighting prowess and turn me into an enforcer or something. While we were having that conversation, I thought I heard someone calling out to me from behind. I turned around to scan the area and noticed Cindy's mouth flapping open and shut. He seemed to be trying to tell me something, but he kept backpedaling away from me in apparent fear, so I couldn't make out what he was saying. I decided to approach him so I could hear him better. As I strode purposefully toward Sonny, he retreated even further. Eventually, though, he ran smack into a wall and had nowhere left to run. Realizing he was cornered, Sonny brandished his bat and yelled at me, his voice tinged with desperation. "Yo, what the hell, man? Why didn't you say you were stupid strong right from the get-go?" Cowering while hurling threats and insults, Sonny was the spitting image of one of those yappy little purse dogs. Why should I have? It's not like I'm obligated to tell you. Yeah, you are. This anime protagonist level of strength is total bullshit. Who even are you? Like I said, I'm the Genovese family head's personal chauffeur. I replied to Cindy's frantic questioning matter-of-factly, but he clearly wasn't buying it. Chauffeur? For real? Ain't you more like a friggin' bodyguard? Since when are drivers this overpowered? The pool kid looked like he was having a full-blown mental breakdown as he clutched his head in his hands. Just take a deep breath and relax, boss. Maybe he's like a driver/bodyguard or something. It was hard to tell if Paulie actually believed what he was saying or if he was just trying to do some damage control and calm Sonny down. Yeah, that's gotta be it. You're the boss driver and bodyguard, ain't ya? Nope. When I say I'm just his driver, I mean it. I've been keeping these sick combat skills on the down low, even from the boss. A bodyguard gig was never in the cards for me. I couldn't help but chuckle a bit as I shut down their wild speculations. They both shot me bitter looks, but after seeing what I was capable of, they knew better than to try anything. Then why the hell are you hiding how crazy strong you are? It don't make a lick of sense. Sonny shouted at me, still gripping his bat tightly. I don't expect a couple of brats like you to understand, but grown-ups have their reasons sometimes. I keep telling ya, I ain't no brat. And that weak sauce explanation don't explain jack. Boy, from head to toe, you screamed snot-nosed pank. And what did I say about pointing bats at people? Maybe when you're a little older you'll get it, but for now just drop the bat and pipe down like a good little ankle biter. Ha! Zip it, you washed-up geezer. Quit talking to me like you're my old man or something. Cindy's tantrum was giving me war flashbacks to arguments with toddlers. As I mused that a two-bit gang with this clown at the helm couldn't possibly be a serious threat, I must have let my guard down. Polly apparently mistook my pensive state for an opening and lunged at me. You smug son of a. Just 'cause you landed a couple lucky hits, don't think you're hot shit. Spitting curses, Polly raised his bat, poised to brain me with it. Seeing as I wasn't busy shielding the boss this time around, I figured I'd just dodge the blow. But before I could even react, the boss suddenly stepped in front of me and caught the bat mid-swing with his bare hands. Alright kiddos, playtime's over. Put the toys away before someone gets a boo-boo. As the boss addressed them condescendingly, he wrenched the bat out of Polly's grip. Hey, hands off Polly's bat, you old fart. Don't go touching other people's stuff. Sonny took an angry swipe at the boss with his own bat, but this time I was the one to catch it barehanded. Finding themselves suddenly unarmed, the two of them started backing away from us, clearly trying to put some distance between us. Boss, I really appreciate you having my back just now. You're a real lifesaver. It's the least I could do after you saved our skins. I should be thanking you. The boss and I shared a warm moment as we expressed our mutual gratitude for looking out for each other. But of course, someone just had to come and kill the mood. Damn it. I ain't about to let you geezers mess up our plans. Snarling with rage, Sonny came charging at me full tilt. My instincts were screaming at me that something was fishy, so I took a closer look. Sure enough, the pink had a knife palmed in his right mitt. Moving fast, I wrenched the blade from Sonny's fingers and used his own momentum to send him flying as he lunged at me. Oh yay, did I mention I picked up more than boxing back in the day? Judo was another hobby of mine, so I knew my way around a hip toss. The sound of Sonny hitting the floor was music to my ears. I was on him before he could even think about getting up, grabbing a fistful of his shirt and pinning him with a glare. You really are a few fries short of a happy meal, ain't you, kid? Pulling a knife. What exactly was the plan here, Chief? Did you even consider what would have happened if you'd actually stabbed someone? I'd have crossed that bridge when I came to it. Sides, this ain't my first rodeo when it comes to flashing a blade. Come again. You're telling me this is a repeat offense? Yeah, what of it? You gonna stand there and lecture me, geezer? Damn straight I am. Listen up, you little psycho, 'cause I'm only gonna say this once. You don't ever pull a knife on anyone. Capiche? I did my damnedest to drill that point home, but Sonny was bound and determined to tune me out. Get off my case already, Grandpa. Ain't you mafia types supposed to be cool with violence and stuff? Oh, I'm more than cool with violence, Junior. In fact, I'm downright frosty. Since you are so dead set on provoking me, I'd be happy to demonstrate my mastery of the fine art of putting punks in traction. That is what you're after, right? Cracking my knuckles for emphasis, I started advancing on Sonny real slow and deliberate like. Wait, hang on. That's not what Sonny tried to backpedal, but there was no way I was letting him off the hook now. I slowly but surely cornered him against the wall. But just then, Polly barged in. Get your hands off the boss. He's our leader. Polly came at me, knife in hand. I swiftly disarmed him and socked him in the gut. Polly let out a pained grunt and quietly crumpled to the ground. Apparently the shock of the blow knocked him out cold. Polly. Hey Polly. Wake up, man. Sonny desperately called out to the unconscious Polly, but got no response. Obviously, since Polly was out like a light. You bastard, I can't believe you did that to Polly. I'll never forgive you for this. Sonny was wryly pissed, glaring daggers at me. Hey, you can't pin this on me. You're the one who came at me with a knife, remember? I was just defending myself. I responded with a chuckle, but Sonny's anger showed no signs of abating. Quit laughing, asshole. You've gone too far this time. Sonny yelled and took a swing at my face. I dodged it easily. Frustrated, Sonny threw punch after punch, but it kept evading until he started to look visibly fatigued. Once his punches slowed to the point I barely needed to dodge, I lightly smacked Sonny upside the head. The jolt made him lose his balance and plop down on his ass. Some leader you are, Sonny. You're way too weak, don't you think? My taunt made Sonny's face flush beet red as he hung his head in shame. Just then, the boss came over. Bob, we really need to waste any more time on this bozo. He's clearly the ringleader and today's top troublemaker. I hear you, boss, but a beatdown ain't gonna teach him squat if he ain't willing to reflect on the error of his ways. I'm trying my darndest to get through that thick noggin of his. As the boss and I were talking, Sonny, who'd been sitting there with his head bowed, suddenly ducked behind the boss and put him in a headlock. Not so smug now, are you punks? Listen up, as of right now, me and my crew are blowing this popsicle stand. Nobody make a move and nobody gets hurt. And don't even think about tailing us after we bounce, got it? One wrong step, and I can guarantee what'll happen to Gramps here. Sonny made his threats, but he was clearly unarmed. The boss didn't need my help to forcibly pry Sonny's arm off his neck. Hey, wait a sec. Sonny panicked and tried to grab the boss again, but it was an exercise in futility. The boss easily overpowered him. "Shut your trap, you snot-nosed brat." The boss roared and clocked Sunny across the jaw with a mean right hook. It connected with a satisfying thwack, sending Sunny crashing to the floor. "Bob, I hate to impose, but this is a direct order. I know it's not your usual fare as my driver, but I need you to work this punk over, but good." A thorough thumping ought to set him straight but quick. Well, the boss and I were clearly on the same page. I cracked my knuckles and menacingly advanced on Sunny. "I'm on it, boss. I've got plenty of experience straightening out unruly youngsters, being an older brother myself." I grabbed a fistful of Sunny's shirt and hoisted him to his feet. "You ready for a world of pain, kid? Please, no more. I'm begging you. Begging ain't gonna save you now, bucko. Time for some tough love, extra heavy on the tough." I proceeded to beat Sunny like a red-headed stepchild. He was clearly in no shape to fight back, so in no time flat, I reduced him to a whimpering pile of bruises. Right after I'd finished tuning him up, Polly came to and discovered Sunny's sorry state. Boss, can you hear me? Answer me, boss." Polly cried out desperately, but the barely conscious Sunny didn't respond at all. Hard to tell if he'd passed out from the pain or if his jaw was just too jacked up to form words. "You monsters. How could you do something so cruel? This ain't over." Slinging Sunny over his shoulder, Polly limped away in defeat. The other ZS who could still move did the same, carrying their immobilized comrades. Finally, only the family's made men remained. With only made men left in the room, I figured I'd be overstaying my welcome if I stuck around. "Welp, guess that's my cue to skedaddle. If you gents will excuse me. I made to beat feet, but the bosses weren't having it. In the blink of an eye, they had me surrounded, peppering me with questions. That was some impressive work back there, kid. When the hell did you learn to scrap like that? Seriously, where does a chauffeur pick up those kind of moves? A talent like yours is wasted behind the wheel." I was thrilled to have my strength recognized. I'm honored by her praise. I've been practicing martial arts since I was a kid, so even though I haven't been in many fights, I'm pretty used to battling. I appreciate the invitation to become an underling as well, but I quite like my current job as a driver, so I don't want to quit so easily. However, if I ever get tired of being a driver, I might just take you up on that offer. When that time comes, I'll be counting on you." When I said that, the executives seemed to understand, and they stopped bombarding me with questions. Relieved, I finally managed to leave the venue. With nowhere else to go, I decided to head back to the boss car for the time being. But to my surprise, I found Polly tending to Sunny's wounds in the shadows of the parking lot. "Almost done. Just hang in there a little longer, okay?" "Yeah." I had no idea those damn geezers had such a monster of a driver working for them. He was definitely our blind spot. If it weren't for that driver, everything would have gone according to Z's plans. "You're right. Next time, we'll make sure not to slip up like this. If there even is a next time." Unable to hold back, I interjected into their conversation. Because of that, the atmosphere instantly froze over. "Driver, what are you doing here?" "Why? Because I'm a driver, so it's not weird for me to be near the car, right?" "Oh, right. Of course." Polly clutched his head, clearly shocked. Seeing their reaction, I thought to myself that maybe Z was full of nothing but idiots, but I kept my mouth shut since it would be too rude to say out loud. "Even after I beat you to a pulp, you were still raring to go at it again, huh?" I said to the two of them. Polly stayed silent, but Sunny answered me. "Yeah. We'll keep at it as many times as it takes, until all you damn geezers are gone for good." "Is that so? In that case, I guess we have no choice. We'll thoroughly investigate, see, and if necessary, we might just have to pay you a visit first. You might have done pretty well today since it was a surprise attack, but that won't work again. I don't think there are many people out there who can piss off mafia executives and live to tell the tale, but you are really okay with that." I threatened the two of them, putting on my deepest voice. Their faces turned pale, and they fell silent. "If you can swear that you'll never pull something like this again, we won't do anything either. Can you promise that?" This time, I spoke in a gentle voice, and the two of them nodded vigorously. "Yes, we won't do it again. We're sorry." Sonny replied in a voice that sounded like it might disappear at any moment. I managed to catch his words and said, "All right. Then let's let bygones be bygones. But seriously, if you stay here any longer, there's no telling who else might find you. So hurry up and get far away from here." As soon as I said that, the two of them quickly stood up and left, saying, "Okay. Thank you." Once they were out of sight, I suddenly heard laughter coming from behind me. As someone who's not good with scary things, I timidly turned around, only to find the chairman of the Genovese family group's main family watching me with amusement. Confused, I nodded my head for the time being. Then, the chairman walked toward me, still laughing. Not fully grasping the situation, I waited for the chairman to approach. Finally, the chairman stopped right in front of me. I never would have thought we'd run into Z again in a place like this. Is that the last we'll see of them? Oh no, not at all. I may have told those guys that we'd let it slide, but I fully intend to share all the information I've gathered with everyone. After all, I'm the personal driver for the boss of the Genovese family group. That's right. Even though I told them we'd let bygones be bygones, from the very beginning, I planned to report everything to the boss and the other executives. That's the kind of underhanded thing adults can do without batting an eye. However, now that the chairman knows, I have no choice but to leave everything up to his judgment. Chairman, if you tell me to stop pulling sneaky tricks like this, of course I will. No, go ahead and report it properly. This hardly even counts as a sneak attack, so it's fine. Besides, I'm not the type to say boring things like stop, so don't worry about that. More importantly, you really are strong, aren't you? Watching you take down those C guys with a single blow in the meeting hall was like something out of a movie. As expected from a former pro boxer, your movements were flawless and impressive. Having you there was a huge help. Thank you. When the chairman said that to me, I was thoroughly surprised. I hadn't told anyone about my past as a pro boxer since starting this job. So the chairman shouldn't have known, and yet somehow he did. I couldn't help but wonder how he knew, so I decided to ask him directly. Chairman, how did you know I used to be a pro boxer? I'm sure I never told anyone. Don't tell me I let it slip while I was drunk or something. When I said that, the chairman smiled genially and slowly explained. It turns out the chairman is a huge boxing fan, and back when I was active, he used to cheer me on as a boxer. He even said he was really sad when I had to retire due to injury. Because of that, when he found out I'd become the personal driver for the boss of the Genovese family group, he was overjoyed. Though he did also express a bit of regret that he couldn't have me as his own personal driver. In any case, that's how he let me know that he'd known about me for a long time. Ever since that day, the chairman started inviting me to go watch boxing matches with him, saying, "Hey, why don't we go see some boxing together?" I hadn't had any real hobbies for a long time after quitting boxing, but recently, watching boxing with the chairman has become my new pastime. Nowadays, we have a blast telling each other about the fighters we're rooting for and what we like about them. And getting involved with boxing again like this made me realize that I really do love the sport after all. At this point, there are very few people in the group who don't know I used to be a pro boxer, so have started openly going to the boxing gym before and after work. Of course, I can aim to become a pro again like I did back in the day, but I've gotten to the point where I can enjoy boxing as a hobby. Considering that right after I retired, just thinking about boxing was enough to make me nauseous, it's a huge change. From now on, I want to keep going to the gym like this, chatting about boxing with the chairman, and enjoying my life as a former pro boxer turned driver.